everybody? Welcome to episode 11 of Spike Drop. We're a competitive Valorant podcast. KickedTripod here with Joe, Volamel, and a last-minute sunburnt man. Yiska is in.
He's back.
He's in. You're back. Made it just
From
in
the
time.
island.
Welcome back.
True.
Look, like I literally just saw you looking like all your. I don't know what it was about the pictures that you sent or showed us, but it looked like you were just like, you know, those like photos on Reddit every once in a while. It's like my sister and I retook our baby photos from 25 years ago, and so you're like sitting cross-legged in the stand playing tic-tac-toe, just like you look like you're
Owning people with the soft meta, of course.
Ah, jeez. Ah, jeez.
I don't know. Yeah, that was. I got some good pictures, but I don't take pictures. Like I just let other people take pictures, so I have more time to let it sink in. I also have a memory. Apparently, other people don't. I can't draw though, so I can't share my memories. So, which is fair enough. In which case, you know, taking pictures, camera comes in handy. But that will require me to care about showing my pictures to others, which I don't. No, unless it's on this podcast. Like, so.
Like I don't have any friends to share my pictures with.
Yeah, they don't care. Nobody cares. Dude, it's like when my mom comes back from vacation, it's like, oh, you want to meet on Saturday and like, you know, look at pictures? I'm like, sure. I would love to, Mom. I have 3 hours of free time in a week, and I would do like nothing more than fucking look at pictures.
I will say this: I've gotten not an itch, but I have enjoyed. Like I didn't like physically run over, but I ran across some of like my old pictures from like myself and my brother growing up, and I was actually those were really fun to look at. Yeah, but like not a vacation from like 3 months ago. Or like
also I've got to imagine that
pictures from this weekend. Do it, I dare you.
Yeah,
I'll block you so fast.
I've got to imagine that like some of the people that are local to the area probably have been there before, or at least know of it. So it's not like, oh, you want to see some pictures from like this different country I went to. It's just, wow, you went up north. Sweet, dude. Cool. You went to the Upper Peninsula. Awesome.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
What was the weather like?
Hot.
Like half hot, half shit. Yeah, that's kind of like here, dude.
So you didn't leave. Awesome. What a vacation, bro.
I ate fish that didn't have to be iced. That's the difference.
Fresh fish? Well, that's good.
Yeah. And I get to hang out with the family and
that's good.
Eat some good food. We ate out every night, so that's nice.
Don't have to
lose to the mayhem. But I mean, you kind of saw that by the picture, but yeah, big losing right now. But yeah, Monday is where I start workouts. So
there you go.
I'll turbo boost that into. My sister is gonna he's going to marry in a month. So this bad boy got to fit into a suit, or
you got
$400 on a suit. So
are you doing anything like going to a gym and doing like a regiment? Or are you doing some like at home
probably
stuff?
Yeah because you know, I have 2 jobs, and the other job is off for the summer holidays, so I got like 12 and a half hours a week to use, and I'll only fill that half of it with esports, so I might as well just hit the gym every morning, Monday to Friday. We'll see.
Honestly, some of the best I kind of miss. So in season 1 of Overwatch League, I really liked when we had games. It was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and so and they would start at like 5 or 6 o'clock. They would start like relatively late, and so I would go and I would catch like the last 2 games at the gym while I was on a bike, and it was kind of awesome.
Yep, super good way to catch up on VODs for sure.
Yeah, but anyways,
running treadmill stuff like that.
Valorant podcast. This is Spike Drop. Chat, thanks for hanging out with us. We really do appreciate it. Great way to support the show. If you're like, hey, how can we support? We like the show. Subscribe right here, twitch.tv/KickedTripod. Go over, subscribe to the YouTube, youtube.com/SpikeDrop. Or help us just maintain our concurrent viewer count. We need to maintain 75 or more to get partnered on Twitch. And we did that, but we missed a stream last month, and it took them 7 weeks to respond to our partner application. And so by the time that they checked in on it, they saw that we missed that, and they're like, "Hey, you need to stream one more." So, dang.
Curse you, Twitch overlords.
Dang. So we got to do it again. They said to just, make sure that we get all of our streams in and we should be good. So that's what we're going to do. And but we have to maintain that 75 viewer count now to do that. So anyways, we got that. And then the show is on all the podcast outlets. So if you don't want to watch it over video, just iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcast, everywhere else. It's everywhere. All right, let's go ahead. Let's bop into the news. So we did have a dev diaries on what comes after launch that came out a little bit earlier this weekend, or this week. I think it was on Monday or Tuesday morning. And learned a little bit more about the content, upcoming content structure that we would be getting for Valorant in the forms of maps and heroes and lore. Kind of interesting. Here's the big takeaway. The year in Valorant is going to be broken up into episodes and acts. Episodes last about 6 months and acts last about 2 months. So there's basically 3 acts in an episode, 2 episodes in a year. So far, so good.
Yeah.
So far, so good. All right. They said that they want to bring in new agents at the beginning of new acts, which means that we're looking at as many as 6 new agents a year.
Wow.
That we should probably pause there and talk about that, because that's it. And again, there is like this. They did kind of caveat this and say, we will adjust this number to whatever feels right, but we are going to front load it. And I kind of agree with this. Like, I'd rather be too much content, too many new things, please slow down, than be like, give us more.
We're bored, please.
Yeah. So,
Okay. How are the 2 things called? Episodes and
episodes are like the collection of acts, and then the acts make up episodes.
Okay.
So like think of episodes like seasons.
What is English right now? How do you call the thing that you chop trees with?
That's an axe.
And what is the 2-month thing?
An act.
Acts.
Plural?
Acts.
So Joe pronounces the T in it, but I don't.
Well,
think John does.
if you over enunciate it, like if you're just like casually saying it, like axe, like it's gonna
act.
Yeah, it should be, but just casually speaking, like you kind of gloss over the T.
I think it's also part of just like the microphone thing. Like it's kind of hard to pick up on the variable D on the microphone.
Are you sure? Are you sure it's not just Americans just?
I think we have a little bit of a lazy T sometimes, for sure. But
there we go.
There is a difference.
It's not a lazy T. It's an efficient T.
An efficient T. Something the Germans know all too well.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, six agents a year.
That was a relevant. Rabbit hole.
Well, came out of the vacation that directly had to go to work on the American language again. Took my hard hat and went to work. Okay, so 2 months, 6 months, right?
Yes, 2 months. Every 2 months, a new agent. Every 6 months, just big overarching content kind of themes and ideas. If we're already going to talk about the worries around like agents spamming and the abilities versus the gunplay, I wonder if 6 agents a year is a lot. Again, I side on the idea of more is better. Like more content's definitely better for people, and you can kind of like number tune and tune back whatever you need to prune and, design the game where you want it to be. But yeah, I think generally a good thing. Just cautious optimism for the most part.
I think for me, I think that this is good, but I think that this is an indication that they don't really care a whole lot about agent identity, individual agent identity. Whereas like we come from Overwatch where there's very little homogeny among the different heroes.
Yeah.
And there's definitely some overlap. We've seen it, right, where people have made comparison to like Ashe and McCree or whatever, or sure, you get what I'm saying. And in this, they even kind of said in the Q&A about like picks and bans and stuff. They're like, we'll
get to that.
Yeah, we don't really see this as something where it's like you're not really picking and banning based on counterplay, because there isn't really a whole lot of counterplay with the heroes. We want it to mainly be a lot more about map play and gunplay. And so I think with this, it's just kind of like we're just going to see more homogeny in the player kits, and you might get a combination of this is totally random, but like a Breach and a Brimstone character who kind of does a little bit of both, but doesn't do either specifically as well. And you start getting a lot of that redundancy in these different,
which is good.
These different agent kits, and I don't know how I feel about it. I think we could talk about if like that's the most fun way to play the game, and I'm probably the wrong person to have a super in-depth opinion on it, because like I haven't played like a pure kind of shooter since like my Halo days, and those and in Overwatch you're kind of so used to like this hero does this hero does this, and it's kind of weird to be like, well, this agent does this and that's kind of good, but it's also not super relevant. Play whoever you want, but also play one of these these 5 or 6 agents. So I don't know.
I think you're overestimating Monkey Brain. Monkey Brain thinks in 2 months, shiny new thing. Monkey Brain likes shiny new thing. And then every 6 months, there's big shiny new thing. And maybe it just really is a polished but it's a shiny thing, right?
Yeah.
So
it is a shiny thing.
So as long as that is the thing, it works. This idealism that we got from Blizzard with Overwatch Heroes, how well did that work out, guys?
Well, we'll get to idealism. We'll get to Riot in their ideologue nature.
Like,
don't think they're removed from it.
But sir, what about the lore?
My story.
Sir, can I simp for the lore? Get out. Give me agents. Give me shiny new things. Monkey Brain likes.
I mean, we're getting new lore too, though.
Yeah, a little bit. Like, don't
you want to know what's in those boxes, Yiska? What's in the box? The big blue like Radianite boxes.
I don't even know these existed, so apparently not. No, I don't give a hoot. Like, you
don't remember them being literally like changed in
They're
color?
Just futuristic boxes.
They could just be that.
But
I hope they kind of are.
I will say this. They definitely didn't go for the world building angle from the beginning, and it's going to be hard. It's hard to make a world you care about after you've announced it and made it kind of vanilla as it is. I think the most interesting part about the world is the characters. Like, how do these characters come to be? Why do they have the powers that they do, or whatever, or abilities? And that's fine. I'm all for it. Give me some more.
Very soft world building. Very just like,
but
figure out if you want. If not, you don't have to.
It's not like I'm going to go buy a jet plushie anytime soon. Like there just isn't that kind of draw in the game right now. And I don't think that they need to, unless they really wanted to play heavily on the merch stuff. In which case, I think that they totally launched and marketed their game wrong.
Yeah. I think by not having lore, they're also really missing out on the Pornhub demographic, of course. So,
well, you said it.
Let me tell you, I think that they're doing just fine. I think they're doing just fine.
This man Googles. Actually, Bings. If we're being serious, Bings.
No. You DuckDuckGo.
Really?
You DuckDuckGo. You don't.
That's that try hard incognito mode.
Porn.
This man doesn't know about
Go porn.
No. You definitely Bing video.
No, dude.
They got that algorithm, dude. I'm telling you.
What are we doing?
I'm telling you.
You're such a boomer, dude. Like,
Ah,
oh man,
look at it.
DuckDuckGo. I'm trusting you. Just type in whatever you want.
I don't care if Vladimir Putin knows that what I'm doing it to, dude. Like this man,
you're gonna get better results.
DuckDuckGo is only for privacy.
You're gonna get better results, Yiska. You're gonna get better results. I've tried them both.
I need whiskey.
Right. I need Katie's input on that.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Katie's the one who taught me.
No.
She's gone right now. So
this is a 5-viewer. This is a 5-viewer therapy session, by the way, guys.
This is all purely hypothetically.
Yes, of course. Allegedly.
I may or may not have a son as well. I might be imagining all of this. Judging by this peeled potato that I call my face.
Say peeled potato.
So episodes in acts.
Yeah.
Acts. New lore coming with new episodes and acts. New cosmetics and skins.
Sweet.
Which, dude, can we just say, are the skins bad or just overpriced?
Probably a little overpriced. I like the skins. I quite enjoy if I play with friends and somebody has like one of the guns with the change sound effect. I'll be like on pistols. I'll just be like, depending on what age I'm playing, I'll be like, hey, drop me a classic. I want to have the pew pews, and it's kind of cool. I like them. I like picking up other people's skins and kind of looking at them and like, it's kind of sweet. I might buy this if I had extra money to buy it with. I don't know.
Here's Ape Brain, which goes, I have this because I make financially irresponsible decisions.
That's what
These other people don't have this, therefore I like it more.
Mm-hmm.
Ooga.
I just kill so many people that I feel like I always have a gun with a skin, and they're never that cool.
The gun that's why I like the big brain play is to go for the knives.
Right,
yes.
the knives. So the knives,
but the knives
cool.
aren't.
The knives are the only cool part, and they're also $35 a piece most of the time.
Yeah.
Yes, which are
CS:GO. I get it. There's $2,000.
I kind of wish that there were like fancier knives, though. So that's one thing I wish that like maybe. I know that like generally like gaming has gotten away from like loot boxes, but I feel like there's just something like really cool about like getting something super rare. And I don't know how you do that outside of a loot box or like some sort of like pack, but I don't know. That'd be kind of an idea that I think Riot could explore.
Events,
and
then,
like
event skins. Usually.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like limited time only, like we're not going to release it again. That kind of thing. That would be really cool. I think people would really, really enjoy that. Whether you have to pay for it or like upgrade it to a certain level. I don't know. And then what are they going to do with like the idea of stat tracking? I haven't really heard too much movement on that. And then for anybody who doesn't know from CSGO, you have certain guns that will track how many kills you get with that specific gun. It's a skin that basically tracks how many kills you get. Mm-hmm. And I think people really, really enjoy that. And we haven't really heard if Riot is going to implement something similar, because I think that would again be a killer shop item where just randomly you have a stat track, Stinger or whatever gun it might be, just randomly in the shop that week, and you get it now, or you just have to gamble on when it comes back into the store. You get to track your kills with it. I don't know. I think it'd be really cool. Good idea. Thoughts?
Yep. Great.
Yeah, whatever. Like maybe they can find a more innovative idea.
Sure.
To display certain things.
Yeah, it doesn't have to just be stat track. It could be something.
Yeah,
more
maybe it doesn't need to be like stat track, but like the more kills you get, the more radiant powers in the weapon that therefore glows more or whatever. Mm-hmm. That type of stuff, right? Just like something where it represents the actual number of kills at
doesn't
breaking
Apex
points,
do that?
I do.
Apex has some skins where the more kills you get in a game, the like more sweet the skin becomes, essentially.
Could do it that way.
Like
I think you could do it like lifetime.
Yeah,
like just lifetime.
Thinking the lifetime. Yeah,
and I don't. It might be lifetime. It might not be game.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, reactive weapon skins
Katie
are.
would know.
are the cool.
That's pretty cool. I like them. Good idea.
So yeah, they want episodes to be more impactful and have major game content releases associated with the beginning of the episodes, and we get just kind of smaller content increments on the 6 different acts throughout the year. Makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to brand it too. I think the way that the Riot dev who did the video, I'm blanking on the name, the way that she explained it was, seasons are kind of muddy. What is a season? Is it an esports season? Is it a competitive season? Is it a lore season? Like, what do we mean by season? So it differentiates that from episodes and seasons, and it makes it feel different, which I enjoy. I think it's something that I wish more people looking at you, Blizzard, would think more about.
Season 23. Oh, cool. What are we getting? We got a spray for you. We got a spray.
I guess.
Got a spray. If you're one of the top 500 in the world, the spray kind of moves a little bit.
Animated. How
We're
boring
busy.
is season
We're busy,
25?
guys. We're busy. Okay, it's busy.
So dull.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
I mean, we're starting to get a little bit more interesting naming kind of conventions with the monthly tournaments in Overwatch, which we won't get into. But again, something I wish that developers really kind of lean more into is like the season of the blank, or episodes or whatever. Just make it different. Differentiate yourself from the pack.
Yeah, and this is something too where it's like I'm glad that they're kind of. They seem to, if there's one thing that I think the Valorant team has done a really good job with so far, is their willingness to like implement something and then just kind of like say up front, be like, this isn't very good, we'll change it. Like,
and then they actually do.
And then they do.
Yeah. It's not just a backdoor like, oh, if you really don't like it, then we'll change it.
Like, we'll send
but
out,
like, if you just kind of marginally don't like it, we'll like tweak it
in 6 months after you've quit playing.
Exactly. Yeah.
See what it'll take to get you come back.
You know what I'm saying.
Valorant 2 in 3 years. Let's go.
Yeah.
Last thing is player behavior. They said that they feel like they've done a good job at reducing cheating, but haven't done a good job at reducing drunk Yiskas in your party. Basically, just toxic people. So they're going to be.
I'm actually a saint.
You're actually.
I used to be bad.
You used to be bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we were all like little edgelord kids at one point that would run around yelling at people on Xbox Live.
Our generation was ready for voice comms on the internet.
Oh, most definitely not.
Like nowadays, it's really just like this feeling of, okay, this kid is talking. Oh, okay, you just said that. Okay, threshold filling up, and at some point when he just backseats, you just pop the lid off and just like,
see, you have way more of a threshold than I do, because it's just like you have one chance. You say something dumb, you just say something not like strategically dumb,
but
just
you
like
mute, right?
Yeah, mute.
Yeah, okay.
I'm good. I value the mentals way too high to put up with that stuff. So it's nope. And then if you're really bad, you're getting that fat old report, which are kind of weird too, because they have like weird like little chimes with them.
The last game of Valorant I played with Drixus. He's in the chat, and it was 2 guys who were, I can't remember, they were basically bragging over their YouTube or Twitch like follower count, and they each had like a couple hundred or whatever. And I'm just like trying to stay quiet because they're like both really mean. They're both like chatting at the whole team. They're being really quiet and be like, like, guys, come watch me if you want to be good, dropping slurs or whatever. And yeah, it's just I can't do it. I usually give people one chance of like, you say something dumb or stupid, okay, whatever, like, you got it out of your system, let's play the game. And then say another thing, it's just mute.
Yep.
So anyways, so basically the developer team is like, hey, to better reduce toxic people, we need your reports. So keep reporting. We are seeing them. We are getting the data. We need more data, and then we can implement more and better systems.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like all of this, dude. I don't know, like
Good thing.
it's just smart.
Mhm.
None of this really strikes me as stupid, right? Like
No.
it's or maybe that's also just them giving us more insights into evaluating their decisions than in other developers. But like sometimes developer decisions look really stupid on the outside, right?
Mhm.
And there might
Yeah.
be like maybe they have checkboxes they need to fill in terms of like getting contracts with sponsors done or something like that. And they just have the checkboxes and design systems into that. And what comes out at the end is just completely wacky and it's not workable from a player point of view. But at least the idea solved some issues, right? For Riot here, I think this is just basically a situation where they have given us the tools to evaluate their decisions, and I like it. I don't mind it so far.
This feels very up your alley in terms of like give the people like part of the blueprint, and then you'll get better systems because they can keep you accountable instead of just saying, this is my decree from on high, this is what is, deal with it.
Yeah, it's very
You can be a little more
regimented. It's somewhat grounded. Like it's not just like gameplay first.
Yeah.
You know, like okay, what does that mean? So yeah, I think they've done a great job at communicating that, giving us like we had had spent 30 minutes in the last episode discussing it's something like we now have a framework with how to kind of
view balance changes,
view and judge balance changes and based on their goals. And so I think great, that's awesome. Let's see more of it and keep it up.
Continue, please. Yes, good things.
Also, this past week we got a Q&A number 2. I just pulled a few of the interesting pieces out. Number 1, Deathmatch is definitely coming to Valorant, but there's not a timetable for it yet. They're actively working on the underlying technologies and designs and systems right now to implement that. But it sounds like they're not just developing it for Deathmatch, but like just alternative game types in general.
Yep.
So a little bit more broad underlying technology so they can implement those alternative gameplay or game type and gameplay type things more quickly and efficiently. So that's going on right now. I think that's great. Who doesn't want more game modes?
Sure. I'd like a DM. DM's fun.
Great.
Just want to get on, play a little bit,
Great for warm-ups.
Do a little bit of aim training.
Yeah.
100%.
DM was needed. If we're being honest, that's like just like a must-have. Some sort.
I mean, yeah, it's I wouldn't say it's a must-have, but it's definitely like if it's not going to launch at the game, that needs to be the next step. Unfortunately, it was Spike Rush for Valorant, which I don't know the actual numbers on it. I don't see too many people around in my kind of circle of friends playing that, but I don't know. Maybe Riot has more info. I would imagine they do on how successful that game mode is. But yeah, DM's definitely needed. And glad to hear that they understand that, they hear that, and it's coming. So big ups.
Q&A number 2, no plans for pick and bans for agents and maps. 3 reasons as to why. Number 1, they expect teams to have a set play and strategy, and bans invalidate that. 2, it feels bad when your star agent is banned. You one tricking jets out there. And number 3, there aren't any hard counters in the form of agents. And so they think that basically it's just kind of a so here's the straight quote from the article is at the end of it goes, "We think the game state is healthier if we're held accountable to ensuring no agent or agent facilitated strategy becomes so oppressive or unsolvable that a ban is the only choice." I'm trying to take them at their word. I'm trying to.
And I think you can. I think they mean well.
Yeah.
But they're too optimistic and almost in like a naive way where it's like, you can say this. And I think you could try to do this. But if you're giving us agents 6 a year, In 2 years, we're almost going to have double the agents we already have. In 3 years, we're going to have more agents than we started with that are just new, right? Like, there's going to be a point where you can't do this. You can't just balance everything to kind of just be homogenous and the samey, and you're going to need bans. And I'll say this, I think at some point in this game's future, this will be reverted and you will see a ban phase, at least for agents. I won't say on maps because it seems like they want to keep the map pool kind of small, but at least maps, I think would be a great one.
Yeah, eventually maps is needed.
Yeah.
I also think like agents, I think this is not a statement that necessarily has to stand the test of time. It's just good or true right now. It's not a, like even the 100% pick rate agents don't feel oppressive to the meta game.
No.
So there is no reason to have bans right now. I'll of course have a like, I think also the size of the agent pool is pretty small, so that their statement is probably upholdable much more than it is for a game like League of Legends or whatever.
Yep.
Also there are no like pick bans in terms of, or like you can mirror agents. So there's another thing that isn't part of the system. So yeah, I think for now this statement is fine. I agree with you that eventually, just like maybe thought through in the future, maybe in like episode 2 or whatever, I agree that we might run into a position where that statement has to change. I also don't think they are dumb or hypocritical once that time comes and they reevaluate that position. That's just smart, reevaluating based on the.
You're not. There's no like hard and fast rules here. This isn't a law that you're designing the game by. This is just the game state right now feels healthier. If there isn't anything that's just too powerful that we can't fix it, but once you open that scope up so far enough where you can't just whack every mole as it comes up, you're going to have to kind of give the player base some sort of tools to kind of fight that. So we'll see. I agree. Right now it's fine, but in the future, I think that this kind of statement definitely changes in one way or another.
So
not a bad thing.
I think that there's like a few different lenses for this too. Like, does that mean for esports? Like, I could totally see bans for agents in, like, if we ever saw like leagues in high stakes S tier tournaments. I could totally see that. I could totally see there being a wrapped up meta at the very highest level, and that's kind of what you see and do. Totally get that. For maps, I think that it's more of a fun thing than anything. Like, I don't think a map pick ban is. I more want like a map vote, just because there's certain maps I don't like. Not that it's like, ooh, these are unbalanced, or these are just like, I don't really like Split. I think it's much more balanced now, but it's still Split, and I don't want to play Split. So let me ban it.
So and maybe Yiska can correct me because I haven't played CS in a pretty long time, but when you queue into competitive in a game like CS, and kind of like a game like StarCraft as well, that has like a similar system, not the exact same, but you can queue for certain maps. Like when you queue for ranked, you check what maps you want to play, and then the game filters you into like when you queue for ranked for that map rather than just like this global thing. So instead of like having to go into a lobby and then you pick it and kind of increasing your downtime, they just like only are going to like put you in phases for that map. Is that something that you think would be cool? So it's like, okay, I'm going to play ranked, but I don't want to play Split or Ascent. I just want to play Heaven and Bind, Q. Those are the only maps you're going to matchmake into.
That would be cool, yeah.
Yeah, that's like WoW does that for Battlegrounds.
Yeah, Battlegrounds
right now. Yep. And that's cool. I find that they don't let you ban enough maps to like. There's always like, I want one more ban and I'd be perfectly happy.
Yeah.
But it's like, nope, you have to play one of the 25 or 20 whatever. Like
20v20, Altered Valley. Yeah, like ugh.
I'll say I don't like this for ranked, and that's also from a CS experience, because there was something called the Office Global, a person that would sit down at 2 a.m. like local time and would only queue office against the most unreasonably bottish players and would like at mid-range skill get the highest rank in the game. So I think in order to participate in rank and get the highest ranks, and maybe you can even make it like, let's say, immortal or up, you have to have every map unselected or even go below like platinum or like whatever. But before that, I think everyone's casual enough to enjoy the game more by playing the maps they like. And that could increase their experience, I think.
Sure.
I don't think anyone also takes it seriously by saying like, oh, he's like an office plat player. Yeah. Doesn't matter.
No.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. I think I'm a little bit more I don't know, like keep bans and all that kind of stuff for agents out for as long as possible. I don't think that they'll need them. But
sure.
I'm fine to eat those words in 2 years.
Yeah, this is one of those things that's just like eventually. I'm not saying next week. I'm not saying next month. It could be episode 3 where something like this gets changed. But it's one of those things where if you can look at the scope and just increase it in like infinitely, there's too many problems to solve on like the design level, and you have to kind of give players the opportunity to say, okay, right now this is too good, or right now this is too good, so we're just going to kind of self-balance on top of Riot's balancing. So yeah, just to kind of help clarify, it's not a bad thing, YouTube. It's just a thing that's probably going to happen.
Okay, we'll have to see. We'll bookmark that. We'll revisit it. You know, hey Siri, remind me in 18 months. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, she actually heard that.
Oh, God damn it. Well,
did he hear
that's
that?
content.
All right. Anyways, let's anything else from these two things? No.
No.
All right, cool. Let's go into esports. All right, esports. Before we talk about the T1 and Nerd Street Gamers showdown, G2, Joe, putting together a little team here, coming together. They're at 4-5.
Finally, you know, Carlos out here talking all this good stuff about how his team's going to be the best team in the world, and it took him a couple months to actually start building. So first, we've got Mixwell, Patak, Bith, and Artis, formerly of Fish123 fame, and probably more better known as Ice Paper Hands. Their sniper, their opper. Great core. I think fantastic overall, taking a lot of CS talent, bringing in some of the endemic or early endemic Valorant talent and putting them together. Super stacked roster, very explosive. We'll see what this fifth looks like. Very interested. They kind of have a lot of room covered where you have somebody like Mixwell who can in-game lead and have that veteran presence. Patek and Pith both have kind of veteran CS presence as well. And Artis is kind of that like moldable rookie that's just very, very, very talented. I don't really mind who else kind of comes in as a fifth. I know that Hip's team from Overwatch that moved to Valorant just disbanded, so maybe could be picked from in there. I think putting Hip on this roster would be super interesting. Again, another person who brings quite the brain from other games and can maybe help mold some strats for G2. Be interesting to see, but great core so far, and I think a good starting point.
Yeah, it's interesting. I honestly, I watched Fish123 a bit, but besides that, like, you guys know the CS history that I wish I just like had in my back pocket.
I mean, I'm not super well versed in it. Yiska definitely has me beaten there, but definitely some names. I know Pith from NIP years ago, and Mixwell's definitely a name that's been in and around the space for a long time. So
yeah, it's
good
like so Mixwell was, I believe, he jumped around a little bit, which is interesting for a Spaniard, but like he was in Optic Gaming. I think that was probably the team where he had the most success with. I remember one breakout performance there.
For sure.
I can't quite say which tournament it was, but it should be easy to see on Wikipedia.
Yeah,
Otherwise, was always touted as like a major talent, but probably it's fair to say for the majority of his career, remained a very good player, but probably not consistently on the best team in the world. And probably also, I mean, that's also something I would have to look up on HLTV, but I think maybe consistently top 20 player in the world, but still very good name. Like that's a tier 1 CS name, right?
Oh yeah.
As is Pith. Artis, not so much, right? Like that's a guy that comes more in the lower ranks.
That's an endemic Valorant talent. That's Fish 123.
Yes, but he has also played CS in the past.
100%.
Right, but more like at a lower level, but definitely also very important based on the skills this guy has. Jesus Christ, he's most definitely, I would say, confidently, I would say the best op in Europe.
Oh, easily. Like this is like EU Wardell, like 100%. Like this is somebody who is going to like buy a Marshall round 2 after pistol and just pound you. I haven't seen a lot. Like EU's been tough to kind of like be excited for because we haven't had much org movement, but now that G2 is coming in, hopefully other orgs follow suit and want to kind of catch up. And hopefully this rat race begins because Europe is going to be very good at this game.
Yeah.
And needs to get their stuff moving because that's when the global scene starts to kind of build up. So super exciting.
And I mean, of course, like this is not a leak. That's just like I know Strong posted on Twitter that he thought there was a likely fifth player. Yeah, and let me see what he said. I should remember this, but
I know that like Scream Happy.
David P was the one that was mentioned as well.
David P.
Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me. That's a good name.
Prodigy, okay.
So has played with Mixwell before in these mixes. Has also fielded his own Belgian player, fits also the mold. I think that's a name that's possible. Of course, the big names still out there, unless I was completely out of esports. So let me double check. Yes, Scream is still not signed, right?
Yeah, no, not to my knowledge. That
would be the last name, of course. It's the other big one or the biggest that's in the room, and that will probably also require deep pockets to get that. So
for sure,
we'll see. But already these 4 are contesting for the best team in Europe quite easily, and I'm excited about this roster.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Like it's a good start. I want to say that I'm like excited to call them like the best team in Europe, but it's also like there's also not a ton of orgs.
Sure.
So it's like,
yeah,
are you really competing with anybody yet? It's hard to say.
It's coming, right? It's slowly,
it should be
surely coming. And I think also like a team like G2 committing to this, also with a signing like Mixwell that communicates, hey guys, we kind of like put some money in this.
Yeah.
I think that has a ton of might give some confidence, to the others. So we'll see.
Looking at Fnatic, and obviously Nip has a team that's been very good, not great, not going to smash any tournaments, but just a good overall team, top 5 in Europe at least consistently over the last couple months. But outside of that, not a ton of orgs making moves. So again, please, we all know that there's a ton of talent here. Start putting together teams. Start competing. They won't let you down.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
cool. All right. Well, good. More to see. More to see from G2. We'll have to see what they come up with. It feels kind of weird because I don't know if we have when the next really big tournament is coming along again, where we'll see something like we saw with the Valorant Showdown this past weekend.
It's going to be tough to get a lot of those teams like together again, I would imagine. But I like maybe this Vitality tournament could be interesting. Granted, not a lot of teams have been announced for that. So
yeah, I think that could be good.
We'll see.
Then again, it's
going to be EU.
EU, so
yeah.
And it's an
That's-
open,
as
right?
we
So
said.
it's not. It's 128 team open. So we don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that actually speaks towards the quality of this match. I think like this won't be much worse than the Ignition Series counterpart. It's just less name recognition, and
Yep.
which
Exactly.
will probably mean that there's a little bit less hype,
Mhm.
but probably not earned. If you're there to watch the games, and of course, like there's still some storytelling to be done. Hopefully,
Yeah, for sure.
the surrounding media and as well as Vitality can bring the hype a little bit. Though to be fair, like T1's tournament was as good as you can hope for in this current state of the game. Like top tier casters, top tier teams, open qualifiers with like promising teams, to the point where the region, like the tournament had the size where the region was probably pretty drawn, or like
Mhm.
like
I'd say so.
there were not many, or I couldn't think of a team that was outside that tournament that should have been inside. So that's good. So all in all, like the T1 tournament will be hard to beat, but with European talent coming in, of course, there also being a bunch of like people that have grown up with CS, probably a much larger audience than in NA. I think like the overall skill level there could be pretty hype, and we could also see just like a bunch of teams that convince.
Yep.
True. Well, let's talk about T1 a little bit. T1 and Nerd Street Gamers Showdown came to an end this past weekend, and it was a lot of fun to watch. A lot of games to watch, but a lot of fun to watch.
True.
Team Ninja walks away #1 spot.
Not true. Didn't get out of groups, John. Didn't get out of groups. Unlucky.
I will say this though, dude. You can't say that Ninja's a good gamer. Like Ninja's a gamer, dude.
He's just good at games.
You almost hate to say it sometimes, but dude, just he played great.
I think if he wanted to, he could probably play on like a tier 2 team in probably most games. I don't know that that's too terribly spicy. I think he's just good at video games, can translate a lot of these skills, knows what games he can translate to. Didn't look terrible, but decent players don't make good teams. Therefore,
yeah. Memes aside.
Memes aside.
The stream overall peaked at just shy of 60,000 viewers, so viewership was relatively strong.
Not bad.
Group stages, highlights, Sentinels, I think were a little bit surprising there, going 3-0 plus 33 round differential. Your boy Sinatra, coming in strong with the
looking good
with a early thing, but besides that, they kind of fell out pretty early though once they got into playoffs. I didn't really have a whole lot of notes on Sentinels other than I think that they played really well, especially kind of considering where I think most people had them. I don't think.
Yeah.
Did we have them going out of groups? I think we had them second in groups, didn't we? In their group?
Yeah, I had them at least for sure second. I considered Gen G definitely the better team. Was proven wrong, but yeah.
What did we say about
definitely a surprising showing?
Yeah. It was what was the team that we thought might beat Sentinels? Was it Mix Up or Echo 8?
I think I might have said Mix Up, and I think Yiska said Echo 8 just based on results. Like their track record is definitely was promising. So
yeah, they really surprised me. Sentinels also didn't get to see the details. So
yeah, I mean, some of these games weren't even streamed, but just looking at the results in the games that we did catch kind of in the lower bracket. Again, a good showing. It was hard to kind of read the team coming into the event because they haven't really participated in much. So it was tough to kind of gauge how much they've grown. Have grown a lot. I would still say a tier below some of the top teams. But again, definite room for improvement, and will be a gatekeeper. So
definitely. Another note that I had is Group A, incredibly close. Incredibly close. The overall, so no 3-win teams there.
No 3-0s. Yep. Everybody lost.
Everybody lost. They different map differential, or sorry, a round differential was +4 to -4.
Yep.
Like just super close there. And I do think that like so I was looking at this, and I think if Together We Are Terrific didn't get pushed against, basically they got seeded against TSM and then 100 Thieves, I think that they would have gone. So they
had a deeper run.
I think that they would have gone. They would have played. Well, they would have played 100 Thieves up front, but even then, I don't know. I think that they would have had a little bit longer run.
Yeah, I think the 100T game could have gone a little bit closer if they were to take first seed. Yeah, I think that's doable for them. And again, then you just obviously meet TSM anyways. But yeah, I agree with the sentiment. Unfortunate bracket run, but that doesn't take away from how good this team is and how much they deserve an org. This is the next team to be signed. Period. I don't think there's really much of an argument outside of maybe Code 7. But again, I feel like they're different classes. It feels like Together We Are Terrific is taking the A-class caliber or A-class caliber teams close, the contenders close, and probably are seated within them and next to them, whereas Code 7 are still trying to fight into that pack. Still a team that both teams probably could use org support. I'd love to see a team. I'd love to see an org like EG come in and sign Together We Are Terrific, and an org like Complexity sign Code 7. Again, some history both with Code 7 and some of the Overwatch players there. It would do wonders, and I think they probably represent those orgs very well in an early space that's kind of chaotic. So,
and in that Group A, I think Cloud9, right? Cloud9 would probably be the only like kind of tier 1 org that didn't really make it out of groups, right?
No. And I think we didn't. I don't know exactly who said what. I'm pretty sure I said they'd make it out. Was wrong, obviously, but the general sentiment around Group A was that it was almost anybody's game. Like anybody could make it out. It was tough to read FaZe because they were so new. Impressive performance from Corey. Marv looking very good. Psalm looking very good.
Really
everybody
great.
Fantastic. Again, like somebody who, it's a little raw, but you can see the talent translating over from Overwatch. Like, is going to be a star in this game 100%. C9 on the other hand, we need some help. Tens need some help, guys. This kid cannot do it by himself every game. Again, will be a star for as long as he wants to be in this game. Fantastic player. I don't know if it's they get too fancy or they're trying to make these set plays work a little bit too much, but something's not clicking. They need some help. I think putting in somebody, I don't even know what roster you could pull from. Maybe I really enjoy a couple mix-up players, but even then their recent results haven't been like super stellar. But yeah, I mean, I think that the general sentiment is that like Tens needs some assistance. Reckless looks good. We'll see. Like Relics is good. Mitch is okay. Poach and Shinobi seem to bottom frag like every game and just seem like just underwhelming support players.
Yep. On the, just really quick on Corey, really interesting. Corey had an 18.5 kills per map, which is the second highest among any player who played more than 11 maps. So,
interesting.
Behind Wardell, who
kid is very good.
Was huge.
Yeah.
Huge weekend. So Corey really, like, it's quintessential Corey if you're used to him from Overwatch, right? He just like has this ability to frag, really great statistically, and then just kind of making sure that the right supporting cast is there to let him pop off. So like don't sleep on Corey on that. He had a monster weekend, like borderline. I mean, almost a 20, almost dropped a 20 average. Although nobody dropped 20 average over 11 games maps. So
I'll say he's also the quintessential, like from his skill set, not from his personality, but from his skill set, is the quintessential FaZe player. If you think about FaZe across all games that they represent, they always have sick aimers with like 6 individual skills, right? Like that extends to the CSGO roster over the years. That extends, of course, to like Fortnite and whatnot. Like that's just like what FaZe does. And this Corey is a walking frag movie. If you like, you just hit record, snap that stuff in, add some lens flare, and you got a frag movie, right? Like
to your point, Corey does fit FaZe's MO. You know who else fits their MO? Tents.
True.
I think
True.
In the not too distant future, FaZe is going to make moves on Tents, and they're, cause again, from everything that I've consumed about FaZe, they have money and just want to spend it. Whatever it is, they're throwing money at the wall. You look at Tens, you look at FaZe, I think it's a match made in heaven. And you put Tens on this roster, I think there's just
no man's getting paid, bro. Like
definitely
that's very
he's catching
expensive.
the bag.
I was gonna
You
say
gotta get paid.
I don't think
Jack is
that
getting
Tens
paid.
leaves C9
for sure.
ever. Well, not ever, but like in this period, I think he's locked up pretty tight. So I think it's bringing somebody.
He's their team. Let's be honest.
He is their team. That's what I'm saying.
He dropped
if
40
he wants to
or
win,
some stuff and lost. Like,
yes,
this is unacceptable, dude. Like
he needs some help, and if he's not getting it from C9, and C9's just a little too slow to the ball, maybe FaZe comes in, swoops him up. Just saying, catch that bag.
Didn't he drop 38 in the map?
Something like that, yeah. He put up some stupid numbers.
So you would think, right? In CS, yes, you have you don't have like the reses and like the ability to frag with. So you probably can carry a little bit out individually in VALORANT, but there is also 6 less rounds that could theoretically be played before overtime, right? And this man drops 38 when everyone's just like, oh, 30 bomb. That is 38 is disgusting,
stupid,
unheard of stuff, dude.
Yeah,
like unreal.
So if you look at the stats, he only played 7 maps, and so like he didn't basically anyone who didn't make it through groups didn't play 11 maps or more. So he 23.4 kills per map.
bro.
Yeah, that is.
On a team that didn't make it out of groups.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
This kid's cracked.
Actually nuts.
You either get him a good team or he's leaving.
Actually in jail.
Just saying. He needs help.
Locked up.
If C9 wants to continue building out this roster, they need to move quickly, and they probably need to spend some good money, which again is not safe money. VALORANT is new. It's a hard bet to make.
He won't be let out.
Do you want to know? Something?
I don't think they'll let him out for anything short of a lot of money.
Do you want to know something funny? Do you know who had the 3rd highest kills per map? Good old Rob Wiz.
Really?
Good old Rob, dude.
Rob
that is nuts.
Only on 7 maps.
420, dude.
Yeah.
What a legend.
It was.
Yeah, Code 7 doesn't look horrible. As much as, a lot of the Overwatch people kind of meme on him, they don't look bad.
I mean, he
will say.
memed on himself, and we just kind of piled on at that point.
Definitely did.
Let's be real. Yeah, so, I mean, it was really interesting to kind of see some of those, some of the stats. His KD, though, was like 111, I think.
Do you know who their coach is?
It's
JKW.
Really? Nice.
Yeah. I saw that earlier on Twitter. I'm like, that is a name I have not heard in years. It's just all old, like original, like Overwatch nerds, and making a name for themselves in VALORANT. Hats off to them. They're doing good.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. I don't. Did I have any other notes on groups? T1 had the strongest showing by map differential. 100 Thieves. They signed that high ground core on top of Hiko, and they look solid.
Look good.
Right? They look really good.
Yeah, can't complain.
I think,
Again,
I think they
a team
slightly overperformed my expectations. I don't think like my optimistic, and I was pretty optimistic on them on the show last week. I was like, I like it's might just be too early for them, but I think it's going to be a good roster, and they kind of prove that they don't need that much time to
go back and watch that Immortals game in the lower bracket. That game was a banger. If my memory serves me, Immortals take a huge lead. 100 Thieves almost run it back, but lose in I think the final, the 25th round. And again, probably the only team to really kind of take them close outside of like T1 or TSM. Immortals kind of solidifying themselves as the third best team in North America. I would probably say, well, I wouldn't say in the world, but yeah, one of the only teams that kind of really give them a hard time. That kind of measures the caliber of this roster and the growth that this team can see. So definitely a good team. Pleasantly surprised. Happy that Hiko and the boys from High Ground are doing well.
Yeah. Other than that, I think do we discuss final results as we go to the playoffs? TSM first place 25K.
Easy.
T1 second place 15K. Immortals third place 5K. FaZe Clan fourth place 5K. Yep. So I honestly I kind of missed the quarterfinals on a lot of these, but I did get to watch the semis and the finals and the grand finals. And
I think the big... Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
I think the big kind of general kind of meta takeaway that I think a lot of people are interested in talking about is the idea of sageless compositions. I still haven't really come to a conclusion myself on it because I still value her wall very high. I do agree that it's been nerfed and is weaker, but again, I think that any ability that directly forces you to make an action that is like active and isn't like a passive, like, oh well, I'll just wait it out. It's just too long to just passively act against it. I think that's still really, really good. But it is interesting to see that a team like TSM, if my memory serves me, did not use her at all on Ascent. Just refuse to use her on Ascent in favoring both Brim and Omen to control mid, better break into sites, really control those angles, because either what was weird about Ascent, and kind of shout out to Chakirix for kind of pointing this out and planning this in my head. A lot of teams really did not play for mid on Ascent at all. They would either they would kind of peek in mid, maybe take some information peeks, but then just directly commit to like one side of the site, smoke it off or use a wall, and then just kind of commit directly to a site instead of trying to open up the attack angles through mid, which I thought was kind of interesting. I think that'll probably change in the future, but Sage Wall really doesn't help you too terribly much with that, because when you peek from attackers, you're peeking into tree, which has like this has this high ground advantage. So you can peek over the wall on certain angles. So it's not easy to do. Therefore, smokes kind of are your next best solution to kind of cut those angles off and, push into mid. So thoughts, opinions on Sageless compositions? Do you think we'll see them on any other maps? Do you think there are maps that could warrant Sageless comps?
I need to think on it more, I think, for me.
It's tough. It's not an easy question.
I mean, I'm a kind of a Sage advocate, so I don't think so. Maybe the idea of anchoring is just not as appealing anymore. So if that goes away, I could see that becoming meta, where you maybe don't try to take those duels and delay, but rather just like, I don't know, retake or whatever.
Yep.
All right, so we'll see.
She is also pretty tough on retaking, even though I give her a lot of credit with the versatility of heal and ice wall, probably taking up a lot more of that power. retaking with Sage definitely doesn't feel great. Somebody that you want to kind of is a little bit more defensive favored. And again, not in terms of like CT or T-sided, but the idea of rounds can kind of flip, right? Like if you're retaking or if you're just defending a site. Post plant, again, kind of more of a defense favored style, if that makes sense. So you're defending the planted bomb, so the sides kind of swap sometimes. She definitely is favored in more defensive situations. So a map like Ascent's definitely going to kind of force her out. I think the bigger question that people aren't kind of looking at is the use of Viper, and I think Ten's had a very showcased some fantastic one ways on split, and still showing that she can work if you want to put the time into looking for these one ways, looking for these curtains. And again, I think something that can be used on Ascent, going back to, you know, some of the stuff that we were writing on GG Recon, if smokes are going to be important for Ascent, could you see Viper's reusable smokes really come into favor? I think so. It's just going to depend on the angles and who kind of develops the strat to kind of fit it. I think it's definitely useful because Ascent's mid is so big, and it's really just this big open courtyard. It's going to take multiple pushes into mid to kind of break it and open up tree and, you know, market to be able to attack these sites. So I think that's where Viper is going to see use. I think it's going to take time for her to get into Ascent, but I think she's still very useful on split. Not the best pick, but definitely usable.
All right.
Definitely usable.
Yeah. I don't hate it.
That's where I would shift my view. I think Sage is an interesting topic, but I think Viper from last show, obviously getting a lot of hate from my side of the fence with Fragile, I think it was, which again, got a lot more answers on when we're watching T1. Has like a whole like UI thing. It only lasts when you're in it. So it's definitely not as bad as I was banging the drum on for, but could see some use. I think Viper underrated to a degree. Still bad, but slightly underrated. Could see some use.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
Fully
right.
agree.
Let's go. Let's talk about the grand finals and then get out of here.
Yes.
T1 versus TSM. Oh, or Yiska, are you about to add something?
No. I just the thing
He's
is,
gearing up.
I'm actually completely out of that because I didn't get to watch these as I was already on vacation.
I think they went as well as you would expect them to.
I mean, the thing is, just like from the results, this final, it's like TSM totally has T1's number. Like it's not. What were they? 4-0 in maps?
4-1.
Yeah, 4-1.
4-1. Okay.
TSM's Ascent is shaky. That was the only map. We went into grand finals, and I kind of called that TSM was going to get smashed on Ascent. Like they were going to obviously get that free buy. They were going to win Haven. Very strong map for them. Ascent, they just lost against T1 in the upper bracket final, like convincingly. And the only map that they kind of looked weak on was Ascent. So I was like, okay, well, maybe they lose Ascent. They get the pick. They go to the map. They win that. They win the series, right? 3-1, easy peasy. They actually bang them out on Ascent. Like, okay. Like, you go from losing to T1 on Ascent 7-13, and then you flip the script on him and beat him 13-9. Okay.
Yeah.
You just have those.
Yeah, that's the thing is, like, that's the only thing I could still see was that T1 had a new default on Ascent and also incorporated more Sova into their comps, right? Like got rid of Reyna completely. Did they do that in both Ascent maps against TSM?
Yes. Ascent T1, no Reyna. Ascent T1, no Reyna.
Yeah. So their defaults changed up completely since the last tournament, which is like they still like the standard default start with like breach contesting the orb. That was still a staple from what I could see. But like everything else, how they contest mid, how long they stay in mid, at least from the one map that I saw, felt very different and also felt maybe a little bit more sophisticated than their old understanding of the Ascent, even though they were already pretty good. So it is very surprising to me that TSM was able to turn around so quickly on them.
Yeah,
considering they had a pretty solid level on that map.
That's the impressive thing, I think, what speaks to TSM's skill the most is that you have good players. You have Wardell and Sabrosa and, you know, all these good CS, you know, veterans that are really transitioning super, super well into Valorant. But the ability to kind of bounce back on that specific map and kind of show no weakness and be able to adapt like that, what do you do? Like, it's hard to argue that this team isn't the best team in the world right now. I'm not saying that there isn't a team in Europe that could beat them, but we haven't seen Europe tested amongst themselves well enough to be able to put, you know, the TSM versus, you know, the European king and kind of, you know, facilitate that narrative and kind of position that battle across the, you know, the sea. So it's, I can't not say that TSM's the best team. They're outside of that, to T1's credit, I don't think they particularly played it well in this event. I think they, across the board, underperformed. Brax was absent. Skadoodle, quiet a lot of the time. Crashies looked fantastic. Food, God bless his soul. He got put into a couple clutches that I was like, you're trying, you're winging abilities, you're spamming, but it was rough.
I was going to ask about Food. Is like, I've been watching, you know, T1 for a long time, and
sure,
like Food is kind of constantly at the bottom of that squad. Is like, do you think they need a change there? Is that just kind of part of the nature of the game? He's playing his role correctly and he's enabling in a way that maybe I'm just not seeing?
That I wouldn't feel comfortable saying just yet. I'd have to look more into that. Maybe he is a support player. I think he's shown glimpses of talent, and you know, you can start to see like what they're looking at with Food. Like he has some raw mechanics that you're like, okay, I see why you're on this team, but translating that versus the potential is different, right? Like we need to move this into actual results, because not the money. It's not always about the money, but like this team should be doing much better than what they are. In this event in particular, again, like taking Immortals close, losing a game to Cloud, or losing a map to Code 7 in groups. I'm just kidding. That's T1. Never mind. Or 100 Thieves, another T1 team. But yeah, just in general, was not impressed with T1 in general. Like, just thought they could have performed better. Thought they could have took TSM a little closer.
Yeah, and on the TSM side, we've already kind of talked about it, but Wardell was huge in an A tier tournament, and like I'm going through his results right now, and like don't get me wrong, he's always been a strong player. He's always put up good numbers, but you know he's got a lot of like 15 to 20 bombs. You know, kind of like your lead fragger would, where you kind of see, you look at some of his results. 30. He dropped 30 against TSM. He dropped 22 against FaZe. 25 against Charlotte Phoenix. Like, dude had monster maps. And I wouldn't go as far as to say that wasn't a big difference maker too. Imagine just pulling that back a little bit. Wardell, my favorite play of the entire of the entire tournament was map 3, round 8. He 3v1 clutches in on 3 different guns. I think he goes from an op to a phantom to a pistol, and 3v1 clutches, 1 in a smoke, and it was insane. It was one of my favorite. If you haven't seen it yet, again, that's map 3 of the T1 versus TSM Grand Finals, round 8. So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Like, it's this roster just doesn't miss. Like, again, I think people just aren't privy and aren't like on the drone bandwagon, but Kid has probably the best pistol in Valorant right now. This team in general just is painful to play against, because if you lose pistol against one of the best pistol players in the game right now, Wardell picks the Marshall, and you have a pocket op. Sweet. Fight into that. Imagine getting thriftied. Okay, go for it. You want to get thriftied with an op? Yeah, not going to happen. And then round 3, he buys ops. Like, okay, cool. Round 3 ops. That's what you have to deal with this team.
That's, by the way, and I'm not sure if that's totally true for Valorant, and we'll that's something nice to observe. But over the weekend, I talked to Stuchu about how he, what he's learned about Counter-Strike analysis, right? And
Sure.
one thing he said is like he talked to experts, and the common idea is that while there probably is some rhyme or reason to the chaos of pistol rounds, it is not worth putting any time in analyzing or practicing them. They just happen. Your player pops the hell off and has individual skill. You win those. Those are the teams that individually that win the most pistol rounds are the ones that have the sick pistol players. And I think that is true because of Drone for this team. Like, I don't think they can plan whatever they're doing.
No. Yeah,
I don't, like this kid's just nuts with it.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not that much the case in Valorant, but yeah, it's pretty sick. Like
I would say so. Like I think in general, like the pistol's so different compared to like every other round that it's not worth spending a ton of time looking at, because there are so many rounds where you either mirror the guns or want to try double ops. Like practicing with an economy is probably better than just practicing a pistol, other than just like how good is my sheriff? How good is my ghost? Like is my classic okay? What's the spray pattern on the frenzy? Like other than that, yeah, it's probably not worth looking into because it's just so different compared to like the other 13 or 25 rounds that you're going to be playing, or 24 rounds or 23 rounds because there's 2 pistols. But yeah, it's not worth playing. Therefore, TSM just cracked. What do you do? What do you do if you can bounce back on Ascent like that against T1? Again, the only team to rival them. I can't pick a bad map for them if they can do that on Ascent.
Do we know when we're seeing them next?
No, not to my knowledge at least.
I don't
know. No,
I don't think that I see anything on.
There probably is some tournament, but yeah.
Probably not as stacked as this, but they'll be around and they'll probably win wherever they're at. So, hats off to them. Well
GG's done. Number ones. Hey, I got my Outlaws Mayhem pick right. One down. I think I got 2 more really spicy picks to go, and then I'm turning the comments back on that YouTube video. So, anyways, chat, thanks so much for hanging out with us today. We really appreciate it.
A lot of support.
Hope you had a ton of fun. And, you know, again, we just really love chatting about Valorant.
Yeah.
Just hanging out, talking, chatting, doing the things. If you really like the show, want to support, a great way to do that is to leave a 5-star iTunes review. No new 5-star iTunes reviews right now, but if you do, we'll shout you out on the next show. Yiska, you are not prepared for this. Subs.
I am not prepared for this, but here we go, because I remembered at least one. Philo Elements, thank you for the sub. Long time friend of the show. Also, of course, often participates in our game nights. Yiska out, yours truly. And then Quiznos Bear, 5 gifted subs.
Yeah.
Coming in big.
That's a huge one. Thank you a lot.
Yeah, thank you so much for those gifted subs and subs and everything else. It's another great way to support the show right now, is to help us keep our sub count up, which also helps us get partner. And of course, last but not least, is even if you aren't like, you know what, I really like your Valorant show, but I don't really follow Overwatch, still come hang out with us for Overwatch. If you come and watch on Mondays and Wednesdays for Tactical Crouch and help us kind of keep those concurrent numbers up, it means a ton to us. So it's a great way to do and support the show for free. And we really appreciate that. Thanks everybody for watching and listening. Joe, got any plans for the 4th?
No.
Anything else going on?
Stay cool. Yell at my dog. Binge anime and watch stupid or read stupid comics on my phone. So yeah,
Are you still watching
the weekend
Tower
is
of God?
I am. Was up way too late catching up with that, and then yeah, it's super good. Definitely check that out if you're into that. And then yeah, the weekends to chill and relax, watch some Overwatch, and You're ready for next week. So yeah, nothing too set in stone. Just stay tuned next week.
Sweet. Yiska, what about you? I mean, you're back from vacation now, so do you have a little time to reintegrate, or are you like hitting the grindstone right away tomorrow?
Well, I still need to do my taxes this weekend, so that's going to be fun. Other than that, yeah, I'll probably be working, if I'm being honest. Depends on like what the weather is like. If the sun is not out, but it's also not raining, then I'm going to sit on a bike tomorrow. Other than that, I'll probably be working and watching Overwatch League. Continuously being right about crazy preds. Let's keep going.
Nice. Nice. Quiznos Bears wants you to do an anime voice. We did this on Wednesday, so you have to do it.
Can I simp?
Wait.
Quiznos Bear, can I simp?
There you go.
Got a ringtone for that. Clip that. Put that as a ringtone.
Notification sound.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks again, everybody, for hanging out, watching, and listening. You can find me everywhere at KickedTripod or youtube.com/JohnHorseman. I'm going to be a friend that Katie works with. They live in LA, but they work for Apple and they're higher up. And so they live in LA, but they have a home here in Cupertino. And they're not at it right now. And they're like, hey, if you guys want to go over and hang out at our pool, you definitely can. So we're going to go hang out at their pool tomorrow, use their grill, and take Choji. It's going to be a ton of fun. So that's our plans for the 4th.
Hell yeah.
Just us, though. So still practicing that social distancing, staying nice and responsible.
Good on you.
So, all right, that's it. We're going to do the thing where we get out of here. Make sure to follow the show at twitch.tv/KickedTripod, twitter.com/SpikeDrop, and youtube.com/SpikeDrop as well, or listen to it on any of your favorite RSS feeds. Hope you had a fun one. Thank you all for hanging out, and we will see you on Monday. We actually might see you throughout the weekend. If you're hanging out, go to discord.me/Yiska out. If you, we're probably going to watch some of the games live together. So,
yep,
definitely come hang out and do that. All right, we're out of here, chat. See you guys Monday. Bye.